Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Fola. If this is your first time stopping by, you're welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by again. Today's video should be quite short. It's just gonna be me answering the question that I've gotten quite a number of times. And it's basically people just asking me, Folake, should I move to Canada as a student or as a permanent resident? If you're interested in knowing what my opinion is or what my answer to this is, let's get right into the video.
When I walk into the kitchen, you saw the look on my face, you saw the look on my heart too.
Okay, so if I'd gotten this question about a year and a half ago, my answer would have been a definite permanent resident. No other alternative. In fact, sometimes I do wish I came here as a permanent resident because it would have saved me a lot of money that I had to spend as a student and all of that. Even right now, my answer would still be come to Canada as a permanent resident. But we all know that when COVID-19 happened, which is still happening right now, the processes changed. Everything kind of switched up. Like, let's take 2020 for an example right now. In 2020, we had federal skilled worker draw in January, February, March. April, May, June, we didn't have any. It was program specific. It was Canadian experience and PNP that we had in those 3 months. Then we had federal skilled work again in July and then August, and I think it didn't happen again until October. So it's been kind of weird. This is 2021 and there hasn't been any federal skilled worker draw, which means that if you're currently outside of Canada with a foreign work experience and you're in the pool, no one has been invited in 2021, except you were invited via the province, right? But if you're a foreign skilled worker from outside of Canada, Canada hasn't invited anyone to apply for permanent residency this year, which brings me to siding with the study visa a little bit. I mean, I would never recommend to someone who isn't interested in going to school or studying again to come to Canada as a student, because it just kind of defeats the purpose. What's the point of coming to study here if you're not interested in school? But also, if you have interest in going back to school and you're also qualified as a foreign trained person outside of Canada, I would say there's no harm in trying the study permit route. From what we've seen in this 2021, we've seen a lot of students coming to Canada. We've actually seen Canada make rules that favors international students. An example is this current temporary resident to permanent resident pathways that is inviting about 90,000 temporary residents in Canada, majorly international students, people who have studied in Canada, to apply for permanent residency. I don't want to predict things because I don't know, but from what I've been reading, I actually read that there's a probability that express entry is gonna be revamped. Don't take my word for it. This is not Bible. I read that it's gonna be revamped and federal skilled worker or foreign skilled immigrants might actually change to NOC specific immigration plan. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically what I read is that, you know, right now, if you're applying to the federal skilled worker stream, as long as you have NOC O, A, or B, and you have 1 year experience, you did your IELTS well, you have a bachelor's, as long as you meet the cutoff point and there's a draw, you can come to Canada. But I've read a couple of things saying that now, if they decide to bring it back, it's gonna be NOC specific. So for example, they may say that we want IT professionals. So if you're not an IT professional, even if the draw is 440 and you have 480, they're not going to invite you. I'm not saying this is real. This is still a speculation. But it's something that actually makes sense, that Canada would want to take occupations that are in demand, especially because of COVID. A lot of people have lost their jobs during COVID, that it makes sense that it's the occupation that is in demand that they would actually look for. On the study permit side, I know it is quite expensive to come to school in Canada compared to coming as a permanent resident. I mean, I almost applied for FSW last year and I knew that the proof of fund is about $12,960, which is not up to what I paid for university. So it's pretty expensive to come here and study for 2 years than just staying back in your home country, doing your evaluation and everything, and just showing 12,960 if it's just you alone. But if studying is something that you're really interested in and you don't mind exploring, this might be your best bet. Of today that I'm speaking to you, this is May of 2021. If I have someone who is interested in studying in Canada and who also qualifies for federal skilled worker stream of express entry, who has work experience and has a good point, I would totally say, you know what, stay in the pool, but also consider coming to study in Canada. Another thing that I would like to say is, in 2020, when we had the draw, we saw that the average draw was 470. 471. The lowest was probably 468, maybe in December. If you don't have up to that, might as well just pack your bags and come study here. I don't know if or when a draw happens, if it's going to be less than 470. I know that you can always rewrite your IELTS exam, you can always learn French and all of that. If you're interested in doing that, kudos to you, do it. In fact, I always tell people that you should always try to improve your CRA score. If it means writing IELTS again to just max out the points, exactly, do that. If it means getting another degree so that you can have 2 or more degrees, go for it. If it means learning French now is a big deal. Learn French. If it means learning French to get extra points, go for it. If you have zero interest in studying in Canada and you just want to come as a permanent resident, this is the best time to get it right. This is the best time for you to be chilling in that pool with a score of about 475, at least 475. This is the best time for you to be chilling in that pool. I remember on August 5, the CRS score was 476, which is high. So right now, if you're less than 470, maybe consider coming to study in Canada. But if you don't want to study, just improve your score. Okay, I've rambled a lot. I'm not sure if I got my point across, but my conclusion is basically, if you're interested in studying and you don't mind paying international student fees, I would totally say come here and come study in Canada. Something a lot of people do not know is that you can actually become a permanent resident while you're studying in Canada. And that is fact. I have seen this happen to a lot of people. You can still apply under the federal skilled worker stream using your foreign experience, and even halfway through your studies, you become a permanent resident. Guess what? You don't have to pay international student fee anymore, and you start paying domestic student fees. So that is one thing that you might want to consider. But if you say that you don't have interest in studying and you just want to come as a PR, I'll say do everything to improve your score. Make sure your score is not less than 470. If a draw might happen anytime soon. Nobody has the dates when it's going to happen. I know this was how they were waiting last year before we had one finally in July. Improve your score so that when a draw happens maybe in July or August and they say the score is 476, you have that 476 to come into Canada. It doesn't make sense if you have a Canadian dream and you're not trying to improve your score to actually make your Canadian dream valid. You're just sitting in the pool, turning 30, and you're losing 5 points. It doesn't make sense. At that point, it's time for you to look for an alternative. It's okay if Canada is just a second option and it's not something that you really want to do. But if you really want to come to Canada, if you really want to be a Canadian permanent resident, if you really want to live in Canada, I think that you should always find an alternative. Another thing that sometimes we fail to see is that apart from FSW, there are other ways that you can move to Canada. There's AIPP, where as a foreign trained person, you just have to find an employer that would bring you here. There's the rural something. There are multiple ways for you to come here. There's PNP. So guys, you need to make that decision really fast. Time is ticking. There's no time anymore. People are sitting in the pool with 500 because they have siblings in Canada, that if the federal government decides to do FSW, they would grab them first before they pick you with 450. So don't just sit in that pool with 450. If you're currently less than 470, you need to do something. You need to work on it and figure out what you want to do. So am I pro student or pro PR? Forever, I'm going to be a pro PR because it saves you money and then you have nothing to be scared about because you're already permanent resident. But in this COVID times, I think I'm moving a little bit towards pro student and then still working on getting your PR, if you get what I mean. Anyway guys, that's the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel, share this video, like this video, leave a comment below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.